So a few years ago, I was doing consulting for a very large hospital in Northern California, about a $500 million a year hospital. And they had a CEO who was well-intended, grown up in the industry, but the hospital was failing financially. There are three measures that they really paid attention to: the financial side of things, patient satisfaction, and what are called clinical outcomes. When people go to the hospital, do they get cured? Do they get well? Or do they have to come back because they got an infection or something else like that? So they measured all three. 80 or 90% of the time, he talked about the financial condition of the hospital. And it was always about, you know, if we don't improve, heads will roll. Heads will roll. We're all about our patients. We're all about our professional staff. But heads will roll. Things never got better. So finally, his head rolled. A new CEO came in. And I'll never forget, it was a meeting like this. There were about 220 of the top administrators and leaders of the hospital. And he drew this triangle. And he said, this is the world that you've been working in. It's all about financial survival. And then he took the triangle and he just turned it upside down. And he said, this is the new world. The new world, in the new world, our financial performance is non-negotiable. I am going to assume that we are going to do what we need to do to sustain our financial health. And I don't want to talk about it very much. What I want to talk about is patient satisfaction and clinical outcomes. Because if we become world-class at that, I know our financial situation will completely revolutionize itself. I was in that meeting. It was electrifying. See, he told a new story. He went from the old story to the new story, and it's what people wanted to hear. I get to do what I really want to do. And what do you think their buy-in was for financial performance? It was higher than ever. Because here he had a leader who got it. Oh my gosh, I get to work in an organization whose values are the same as mine. Now I'm going to run through walls for the organization. Now we're going to revolutionize everything. So then we had a retreat. First of all, we created a format where everybody could redesign their department to maximize patient satisfaction or clinical outcomes. Everybody's job had to be linked to those two things, had to touch on those two things. So they were able to totally reorganize their department, totally reorganize anything they wanted to do to make their department part of the future. Then we had a meeting like this. And at tables, every person had to get up and present their new plan and listen to everybody's way of improving it. Then they went away for a week, came back with their new revised plan. Some people had very little change and they got to defend it. Other people changed their plans from the feedback amazingly. And out of that meeting, about 3 people resigned or were pressured to resign because they just didn't get it. But the rest of the people were on fire because now not only was the talk in place, but the structure was in place. And of course I'm telling this story because it had a great ending. It became one of the leading, and actually it once was a leading, and restored its reputation as one of the leading hospitals in Northern California. It merged with another struggling hospital and brought it out to serve a population that was really underserved. The CEO is still there. That's the power of changing a story in the exact same circumstances.